to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We are here today with the first little mini of this series. So this is a brand new series for January 2025. And what I want to do is make an Advent book calendar of mini albums. How fun is that? That'd be super fun to gift to a crafty friend, to gift to someone who's about to have a baby. They can throw pictures and have just like several different little mini albums or folios or booklets or whatever we decide to put in there in one kind of box, right? So we're going to do a lot of techniques that we know how to do. The stack the deck, some kind of no binding, some folios, maybe a hidden hinge, an accordion, a booklet, something, I don't know. We're going to do all of that. I did do a series going back to the basics of making a mini album. We discussed the covers, the pages, the bindings, flips, flops, pockets. I have playlist of beginner folios. I have playlist of a series I had that was called same album, different measurements. That's kind of the one we're going to do today. It's a no binding system, and you'll see what that is in just a minute. I have beginner folios, beginner minis, all kind of stuff. Just go over and click on my playlist and search through the playlist, and you'll see everything that we have there. So today's folio is going to focus on our 4x6 pictures. Okay. Whenever I sit down to make a mini album, I decide what picture size do I want to focus on. That doesn't mean you can't use other picture sizes. It just means what is the largest picture I want to fit into this little mini album. And P.S. I call all of them mini albums. A folio, a mini album, a pop-up booklet. It's all mini albums to me. Okay. So we're just going to do that to, I know somebody's going to come in the comments and say, this is not a mini album's blah, blah, blah. I personally call all of them mini albums. You can call them by their proper names, mini albums. Okay. So anyway, so I decided I wanted to focus on 4x6 pictures. Now for me, I want to have a little border, so I know my pages are going to need to include that 4x6 plus a border. So my pages are going to be 4¼ by 6¼ Okay. So for this, I'm calling it the no binding system. It's kind of a play on stack the deck, but there's no additional pocket pages you need to attach. You're just going to have your pages just right here like this. Okay. So my no binding. So I draw out my rectangle, and I know my left to right is going to be 4¼ on each page. And then my length is 6, or my up and down on my length is 6¼ That's the easy part, right? You just plug in the numbers. Now, the hard part is your spine. You have to think about how thick do you want your book. Now, I don't know how thick I want this because I don't know how thick I want this Advent calendar book box, right? So that is a little bit of a problem. So I'm going back and forth between two measurements, and I think I'm going to go with this one here, which my binding system is going to be 1/4, 1/2, and 3/4. That is working with that 1/4 inch, which typically I don't like to work with 1/4 inch, but that's okay. So I'm going to go with that. So I'm going to plug in 1/4 inch. And I'm going to add it up. So 4.25 plus 0.25 plus 4.25 equals. So my first, because it's going to be a stack of 3, my first one needs to be 8 3/4 by 6¼ Now all of my pages are going to have the same length because you want them to fit, right? Excuse me. So now my next page, let me get some water. My next page, the spine measurement is going to be 1/2. So 4.25 plus 0.5 plus 4.25 equals 9. And then honestly, you can just add another 1/4 inch, but we'll do it the long way. So then my next measurement is going to be 3/4. So 4.25 plus 0.75 plus 4.25 equals 9 1/4. Why did I do it the long way on the calculator? Just to show you how I'm getting those calculations. And also some people have a little bit of anxiety, like just adding that 1/4 of an inch. They need to see visual proof that that is right. So when I first started off, I needed that proof. I needed that calculator measurement every single time just to ease my nerves. Crafting is supposed to be fun. So whatever you need to do to ease your nerves, you do it. Don't worry about what other people say. Do you. Okay. So let's go ahead and cut our paper. I'm going to use I'll use my, no, that's gonna waste paper. That's okay. And this is my paper phenomenon paper, and I use it sparingly because I don't have an address here. I mean, I do, but I don't know what it is, and it's not like, shipping is not like a thing here. That's a whole nother long story. All right, so I'm gonna cut all 3 of mine down to 6 1/4, which I hate 6 1/4 because it's right in the my binding. And if you needed to save paper, you could make your album exactly 4 by 6, and your recipient will just have to crop their pictures. Just will have no border, but it saves paper. You'd only have to use 1.5 sheets of paper as opposed to 3, but you know, it's whatever. All right, what did I do here? So one of my pages I cut too short. What's happening? So I don't know how all 3 of these match, and one is too short. Okay, hold on, let me figure this out. Okay, so one of my pieces of paper was not 12 by 12. I must have stuck a piece. I cut a little piece off or something. I don't know what happened, but it wasn't 12 by 12. So it was a little slightly off. All right, anyway, let's go ahead and score our first piece. So our first piece, we need to score at 4 1/4. And I'm going to rotate my paper and score it at 4 1/4 again. And now this paper is off. Just slightly. This is what I get for putting what you call them in there. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't cut the paper before I started scoring. So this piece needs to be 8 3/4. That's why my scoring didn't work, because I'm like, wait, it should only have a tiny little piece in there. I got ahead of myself. Okay, there we go. All right, so the first piece is 8 3/4. The second piece is 9. And we're and the third piece is 9 1/4. 9 1/4. Right. Save all of these little pieces because we can turn them into flips and flaps and pockets. But you're going to score all 3 of these the same way. Just go to 4 1/4, rotate it around, and 4 1/4. Okay. And this piece, 4 1/4, rotate it around, 4 1/4. I will have the full measurements in my description box for those of you who use scoreboards and it's easier to keep the paper on the board like this and just instead of rotating. I'll put that in the description box. Okay, so now I'm gonna work with the largest piece. So this is my 9 1/4 by 6 1/4. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that, like so. Now the second piece, I'm just varnishing. That's all we're doing. Okay. And the last piece varnish. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and you can tape or glue. I think I'm gonna glue. I think last time I taped, but this time I'm gonna glue. All right, make sure your paper lines up. Okay. What is going on here today? And this is morning time, so I don't know. Maybe 2025, I'm just not a crafter. I don't know, I'm struggling. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and use glue. So here's my largest one. This is the inside of the largest pocket. This is the outside of the second largest. I'm gonna put glue on the spine, making sure I get all the way to the edge. And I'm going to line it up between the two and kind of center it. So you should have about a 1/4 of an inch on either side. 1/8 of an inch. Yep. And glue it down. So with the glue, you have a little bit of wiggle room in case you didn't line it up perfectly. And I think I did. I think I got it. Yep, mine's perfect. Okay, and then you're going to take your smallest one, the glue on the outside. Making sure you get, be generous. Then again, you're going to line it up. And you're going to have an 1/8 of an inch on either side. David's playing a game, so we hear weird noises. Okay, and I think it needs to come over here just a little bit. Okay. And we're gonna let that dry. So that's it. This little booklet base is done. So this is what I'm calling the no hinge binding system. Like I said, it is a play on the stack the deck, because stack the deck, you literally are stacking the deck, just like I'm stacking these. These are the decks, right? So now I'm just making sure all of my pages are perfect. So you can leave this as your cover and these are your pages, or you can add more if you want to and make a bigger cover. But this is all I'm gonna do with this. So now what we need to do is add our pockets and our flips and our flaps. And we're gonna use our leftovers, right? This is going to be perfect pockets. So in the cover, I'm gonna measure it and make a pocket. This pocket is, so I know this is 4 1/4. So I need to make this 5 1/8. I like to make my pockets 1/8 of an inch shorter. So basically what you do is for your pockets, I measure it 1 inch bigger than the area needs to go. And then I cut off 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, probably 1/8 of an inch. So that's why I said, okay, this is 4 1/4. So 1 inch will be 5 1/4. But I want it slightly smaller, so I'm doing 5 1/8. Okay. And I don't know what measurement this is. 2 3/4, perfect. Whatever your leftover papers, just make it 5 1/8, and then we're going to score it at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. And that is going to be my pocket there. Pockets are simple. If you need me to slow down, I have a million videos on how to do pockets and whatnot. So we're not going to go too slow with this because I gotta go. I probably shouldn't be in my craft room right now because I'm supposed to be going somewhere. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just cut at the cross. And you can get your fancy punches out, and you know, the border punches we all bought and never used, and make a fancy border. I got this new little square, and I'm just gonna put a little square notch in there. I think it's gonna be cute. Just kind of like a finger pull. Why? Because I can. I think it's cute. Just to give it a little something. So I'm gonna I'll tape it down there, but what I want to do is cover that first because I made that notch and I should have waited till I put the pattern paper. That would have made more sense, but I didn't think about it. So this is the pocket. It's gonna go here, and then here I'm going to add, where's the rest of my scraps? I can add a full, because I use 12 by 12 paper, so here is, you know, I got huge pieces. Let's just add a flap. Okay, so this is 4 3/4 by 5 3/4. Scored on the short side at 1/2 inch. Let me write this down. Okay, so page 1. This is the pocket. 2, what did I say? 4 3/4 by 5 3/4. Short side at 1/2 inch. Yep, that's perfect. Actually, I'm gonna cut it down just a little bit. So 4, did I really cut it that much? I think I cut it down too much. Nah, that's fine. All right, so it ended up being 4 1/2. So 4 1/2 by 5 3/4. Okay, and you can use tape or glue. I normally use score tape. So if I mess up, I can use undo and take it off. Well, I don't have undo here, and on New Year's Day, I tried to make a mini album and I messed up, and I tried to use acetone to take it off, and acetone works great. It works just like undo. However, I spilled literally half a bottle. It's right here. I don't know if you can see. There it is. This was full. So I spilled that much, half a bottle on here, and it became wrinkly and it's a little weak. It's fine. You know, you can cover the oopsie daisy, the wrinkling and the staining of the acetone. You can cover it with your pattern paper and it's going to be fine. I'm still letting it dry, even though it's been almost 20 hours now that it's drying, but it's not fully dry. So I'm just going to use glue today because there's no point of me using score tape if I can't remove it. Alright, so we're gluing, and my glue wants to be clogged. 2025 got jokes, for real. Okay. And I'm going to put this in the center, and I have about a little less than 1/4 of an inch on the top and the bottom. You can do whatever measurements you want. This is just what I'm doing, okay? And then you're gonna continue adding on. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the video on pause, and I'm gonna cut out all the flips and flops, and I will tell you the measurements, and I'll have them written in the description box. But you can see, I wanted to show you how I figure out my flips and flops. There's no rhyme or reason other than I want to use my scraps. Okay, so I worked everything out. So on our first page, we had our pocket. I'm calling that page 1. Page 2, we added the flap. And that's all I did on that one. I might go back and add more, but right now, no. All right, so page 3 and 4 are the same. I did 2 7/8 by 5 3/8, scored at 1/2 inch on the long side, and 2 pieces at 3 by 4 1/2, scored at 1/2 inch on the long side. So follow your cutting guide, which is in the description box. And don't be afraid to place your flips and flaps wherever you want them. They do not have to. Where's my needles? My glue is clogged and I don't know where my needles are. Okay, well, score tape. So you don't have to put your flips and flaps directly in the middle. I cannot find anything. What the heck? Okay, now I found my needles, but I can't find my thing to pull the tape off. They don't have to be directly in the middle. I'm gonna place mine here and here just to give it a little bit different visual aspects. What would be really cute too is if you cut this piece into a banner and then you'd have like a little banner on here. I might do that. I might or might not. I don't know yet. It would probably be easier to do it now, but who wants to make their life easy? All right. These are just, I think this one is the actual art glitter glue needle. I don't know. I just bought a bunch of stainless steel needles from Amazon, and I put some in a Tic Tac container, and that's what I use to unclog my glue. Allegedly. Okay. That's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and tape up all of them. And you know, your flips and flaps can go on any of the 4 sides of your page. There's no right or wrong to flips and flaps. None at all. It's just wherever your imagination takes you. Alright, so I want mine to kind of cross over. And this is not centered. I'm okay with that because I'm going to chunk out the little sections with the paper and maybe add some embellishments or something like that. So I'm putting that right up against that score line but not on it. And then this one is going to go on the other side. And you can put this one here if you want and do the same thing, or just do the opposite, which I think I'm going to do the opposite. I want a little border. Have a border, don't have a border. Whatever you want. Okay, and then this one I am going to line these 2 up though on their respective pages. Right up against that score line. And get those in there. You can put magnets and stuff if you want to. I don't. Okay, so that's pages 3 and 4. Now, pages 5 and 6. Okay, pages 5 and 6. I'm doing, because this is the middle of the book, and so what I'm going to do are 2 additional flaps, and then I want a little sneaky peek of an accordion here in the middle. And you can do it in the middle of both or one. Actually, what I want to do is put one on the bottom, one on the top. So we're going to make this accordion together. It is very easy. And click. You just need a piece of paper that is where's my little okay, so 3 1/4 by 11 1/4. So again, we're just using our scraps. So 3 1/4. And this will hold your 2 by 3 pictures with a border. So 3 1/4 by 11 1/4. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah, by 11 1/4. And you're just scoring it at every 2 1/4 inches. It's super easy. So we're going to score it at 2 1/4. And this is kind of how I figured out the measurements because I didn't feel like mathing. I went 2 1/4 and I moved my score line to 2 1/4 and I did it. But I think I did math out for you guys. It's 2 1/4, 4 1/2, 6 3/4, and 9. Okay, that's all it was. And then I just mountain, valley, mountain, valley. That's it. Simple booklet. Okay, so we have our 2 booklets. Let me glue in my flaps. Now, these flaps are, I forgot my glue's clogged. They're 4 3/4 by 6 1/4. Now, I trimmed mine down after I cut it so that way it doesn't affect my score lines. And I will show you what I mean in just 1 second. Let me tape. I could have had these all pre-taped when I was not on camera, but whatever. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm putting one on either side. No border on this one. Oh, I made it slightly smaller than 6 1/4 as well. I mean, like by like a 1/16 of an inch, just so they fit on the page. So just cut them at the full size and then adjust accordingly. Okay. So on the left and the right, I have my 2 flips and flaps, and then I will glue when I'm at. I will glue one down here and one up here, like so. Okay, and I am going to take you through the matting process because I have to practice, and for those of you who matting is weak as well, like me, we can struggle together, right? All right, where's the clip? I need a paper clip, 2 paper clips. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to paper clip this to the inside here. And I'm going to clip this to the inside bottom. Now, It is a little bulky, but I think it'll be okay. That's the problem with adding flips and flaps to a book where the spine or the hinge, no, I'll say spine, where the spine is already done, because the bulkier you get, you're going to have alligator mouth. Alligator mouth or Pac-Man mouth, it does not faze me. I don't mind. So if you do mind, then you need to do less flips and flops. All right, what's this? Okay. All right, so now we're on 7 and 8. Okay, so 7 and 8. 7 is a waterfall, and 8 is just a tiny little baby corner pocket that you can make however you want. I just had a piece of paper like this that was, it's just a rectangle that I had scored over here. And all I did was just kind of cut the bottom. Well, I scored it down here so I could have that 1/2 inch, and then I just cut it where I thought it would look cute. That's all I did. I don't know if that's the right way how to make pockets, but these little corner pockets, but that's what I did. And so I want my little corner pocket to be on this side. Gosh, I really wish my glue was not clogged up, because I don't want to use tape today. I'm just not in a tape mood. But I can't unclog my glue, so whatever glue. All right, I'm going to cut it at that corner. And I'm going to have to adjust it because obviously this is too long, so just cut that off. And then cut this off. And just a little baby pocket right there. Just a little corner tuck spot, because I started getting crazy with the thickness, and then I thought about it. So this was just getting a little corner like so. That's it on page 8. Page 7 is your waterfall, or vice versa. If you want to do it vice versa, don't care. As you can see, I did the wrong thing, which is fine. You're going to cover it with your paper anyway, and they're going to cover it with a picture on the back, so it's not going to matter. Even if the person writes on the back and there's that score mark, it's not going to matter. I'm not going to recut all of my pages and waste paper because I did it the wrong way. Well, I didn't do it the wrong way. I changed my mind, which side I wanted to have the score line. That's what happened. Because I was going to do, let me show you. After I'm done taping this. This one I done scored all up because I mismeasured on my score mark, my score line. Okay. So I originally was going to put my waterfall going this way, but then I decided I wanted it in the middle of the page going this way, which I didn't see that. So see, I wanted it going this way as opposed to going, opening up this way. Like this way would have had them like this, but I didn't want that. So I decided to go, I guess, vertically. I'm flipping my book upside down because that's how I work. I'm going in the middle as best as I can. Sticking it down. And then my next waterfall. I'm lining it up, making sure it's right. Sticking it down. Taking the tape off, the backing off my next one, and sticking it down. And then my last one, taking the backing off and sticking it down. Okay, so I have 4. You can do more if you want to. You know, you can do one more, but I just wanted 4, like so. So pages 7 and 8 are done, and now page 9 and 10. So the cutting guide is going to take you the longest. Gluing this stuff on your book is going to take you, what, 10, 15 minutes? All right, so page 9, I went easy and just did, I keep reaching for the glue. I did a big flap and a small flap because that's what I had left over. I did this with all my scraps. I might have had some extra scraps from a different project, but they were all scraps on my desk. That's why some of my measurements are super weird. Any measurement I have, you can always have it smaller, depending on your scraps. And, you know, don't use fresh pages for it. Just use your scraps. This one is 6 1/8 by 4 3/4, scored at 1/2 inch on the short side. I did trim that down just slightly so it doesn't interfere with my my score line. And I don't remember where I was going with this. I think I was just stacking. All right, so I'm going to put this on the left-hand side. And again, you can put this on the left or the right. And then this was going to go just on top. I'm pretty sure. Well, that's where it's going to go now. It's going to go on top. And again, your book does not have to be exactly like mine. If there's a part you like or you don't like, add, omit. I'm flipping my book upside down because that's how I work. Putting this in the middle of my flap that's already on there. Okay, like so. So you'll flip up, you'll flip open. And 10. 10, I wanted a pocket. I wanted to make this back like substantial because of the front is substantial and because technically that's my cover. So the back is getting a pocket and a little floppy thing. So let's go ahead and tape up our pocket. And this pocket is 7 1/4. Actually, I think I did it 7 1/8. I just did it slightly smaller than 7 1/4 by 3. Scored on 3 sides for a pocket. This is going to be a vertical pocket. And so you need to score it on the short side at 1/2 inch and then the long side at 1/2 and 6 3/4. Oops, I forgot to cut this before I took my tape backing off. Okay, so I'm just taking the backing off. I know I'm not on camera. Making sure none of my pocket pieces touch each other. Good. Okay, so my opening is going to be to the right. Oh my gosh, I can't see. Okay. I like to make my pockets, I know I said this before, but just slightly smaller than the paper so I don't have to worry about getting it exact placed on here, which this one I kind of sucked at. That's all right. Whatever. I can't undo it. And then I have this little piece here, which was 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, scored on the long side at 1/2 inch. And I just kind of made this like a little, just a little flap, like a little bumper, just to keep my, whatever is going to go in this pocket, just to kind of keep it in. Because sometimes, you know, the stuff in the pocket can kind of flail out. I'm just going to put it in the middle as best as I can. And there you have it. We may have to add some like paper clips, or you may have to add some magnets. I don't know. All right, so that is the book. That is done. So all we have left to do is to mat it, and we will do that on Monday. Why don't we do that? Why don't we wait Monday's matting Monday to mat these little books? And so by the end of the month, we'll have a completed project, a Valentine's Day advent calendar for a crafty friend or, whatever. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.